Hello, welcome back to Math Time with Professor Prime, and I am your host, as always, Professor Prime. So, in this next video, I want to piggyback off of my previous one about assessing the situation and talk about forming a plan. So, let's do that before we get to the whole testing bit. So, hypothetically, you have assessed where you're at mathematically. You've asked yourself, why are you here? You've asked yourself, how did you get here? You asked yourself, what are you willing to do to fix that? And what can you do to fix that? What is the best course of action? You figured that out. And so now the thing is, what next? So if I am studying for this class, I'm studying this concept, well, what do I want to do? Well, there's several approaches. So my first thing is like, well, you can break down your study sessions. You can break them down into three parts. And what I like to say is RU, so you don't rue. R-U-E. So what do I mean? So read, understand, and evaluate so you don't rue, aka regret, or whatever you want to say about that. But the idea is for the reading section, what you could do is you can look at crucial notes, you can look through the book, you can look at things online because we live in a beautiful digital age. But the idea is like you could really get in there and look at the material that's important to you, any vocabulary or theorems or potential practice problems. You want to at least like assess that, look at things. And then the next part is the understanding part. So, do you understand what was being said to you? Can you talk about it in a different way? Can you talk about it in terms that make sense to you? Can you talk about it in terms someone else could understand? That's important. And then what I think you should do after that, after you're done the reading and the understanding, is the evaluation part. And that can come in the form of practice problems, homeworks, practice tests, that sort of thing. But the idea is you're evaluating where you're at. And sometimes you might blend steps, but I don't think that it's a bad idea to kind of follow that breakdown. Because what I feel is a lot of people will just jump in and do the math. And for some people, they're able to make that work. But for a lot of people, it gets confusing because if you just jump in and try to do the problem, but you don't understand the nuance of it, then you're going to have some difficulty. Whereas if you like read and break it down and make sure you understand that part where you're doing the problem is the proof. So I think that's a good way to approach that. And continuing this discussion, you could also use different tools, right? Like you can use index cards, like to write down crucial formulas or theorems or vocabulary. You can test yourself with that. You can get other people involved in that. You can use so many things online, videos, i.e., the one that you're watching now, um, different notes, practice problems that you might find. There's so much out there, and in the future, I definitely want to spread some of the stuff that I found. So that's coming down the line. But my point is, we live in an amazing age, and there are a lot of resources. So I think that is like all key. And one of the other things that you could do is explore your potential learning style. And the thing about that is, you might not have one. And oftentimes I find, we all have these different styles of learning, and there just might be a preference, or there might be a way that responds to like us in particular. So it's good to look at everything and see if there's something that might speak to us more than something else. And I mention that because if we do have a learning style that does speak to us more than the others, then we can use that style to try to like learn about things better, perhaps. But a lot of people, it might be an eclectic sort of situation. You might learn in needing a combination to do things. And I know with math, it gets interesting because there's so many different things you can do. Because you can approach things algebraically, and that's helpful. You can approach them through a graph, like which is a visual representation, pie chart, bar graph, you name it. But there are a lot of different ways you can approach things. You could do it through your words. You could speak things out. Um, yeah, so there's a lot that you can do to form your plan, and you can customize it to you. You can play to your strengths. You can understand your weaknesses and adjust. You can make sure you're learning at every step, and you can use your schedule. So you could say like, well, maybe I want to take some time here. Maybe I want to take some time there. And you want to experiment with how much time you might need with something, but also keep in mind that that might vary from subject to subject. And you might want to also prioritize things because, yeah, life is kind of crazy. And that could be at any age. So I think all of that is important when forming a plan. And in the next few videos, I want to talk about, well, what to do before, during, and after the test. But I felt like talking about assessing the situation and forming a plan when you're studying is key. So that being said, I hope you learned something from this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Professor Prime out.